1 month later, my parents returned to Northfield for a band concert. Louisa had followed in the footsteps of both of her parents by taking up the French horn. Dad delivered on his promise and dropped off some files and a scrapbook containing crumbly newspaper clippings and faded photos. A few days later, I uncovered a tantalizing tidbit in a St. Cloud Times article from 1977. The reporter had interviewed several men who played under G. Oliver and still belonged to the adult municipal band. When asked to characterize their former director, the men called him a tyrant, terrific, a carbon copy of his own hero, John Philip Sousa, with whose band he once played. Wait, my great-grandfather played with Sousa's band? He knew Sousa? This seemed like a big deal. Sousa was perhaps the most well-known band leader in the world, dead or alive. If my great-grandfather played for Sousa, it indicated G. Oliver was not a run-of-the-mill musician, but a person worthy of more attention and respect. Minutes later, I found a similar claim in an old Escape to the Minnesota Good Times article. It said G. Oliver was an ardent admirer of John Philip Sousa, in whose band he once played, and emulated him to the extent that he never spoke during concerts and was strictly businesslike during rehearsals. Legend has it that Sousa once broke from his established norm and actually told a joke during one of the band's practice sessions. There is no evidence to indicate that Mr. Riggs ever permitted himself such a lapse. Sousa's name conjured up fond childhood memories of concerts on the courthouse lawn, fireworks, and deviled eggs on the 4th of July. It also dredged up a grudge I held against Sousa, even though I'd never met him. He died in 1936, way before my time. The grudge stemmed from the day my high school band director handed out the music for the Washington Post March. A cold, hard truth emerged as I scanned the notes. The French horn part was terrible. It mostly consisted of playing on the offbeats, the pa of the oompa oompa. It could not have been more boring. Convinced that Sousa hated French horns, I dismissed him from my mind when we were done with the piece. I didn't care if he was a famous band leader and composer. He was dead to me. However, this new information caused me to change my tune. Perhaps there was more to know about Sousa, the man, who had been a real person and not just a cultural icon. Could it be true that G. Oliver played with Sousa? The writer of the first article misspelled Sousa's last name, which raised my doubts about his commitment to accuracy. The second article said G. Oliver lived into his 80s, which was false. He died at age 75. I wouldn't believe the Sousa claim until I found proof.